Hello, I'm Paul Meyer, the co-host of today's event, also the owner of DealerVendorMatch.com. I've been in the business 41 plus years. I've learned a couple of things along the way, which gave birth to DealerVendorMatch.com.
Paul, thanks for joining us. So dealers always want to know what's in it for them. So if a dealer is going to be part of Dealer Vendor Match, what are some of the benefits that they get from being part of it?
All right, that's a good question, Dave. Consumers for years have been asking for a more transparent way to buy cars. And other than one company, most of the others have resisted until more recently. And now they have the ability to complete transactions on their own in total anonymity when they're ready to do it the way they want to do it. For dealers, it's kind of the same thing. We wanted to create an environment where the dealer has a free resource to be able to go online any time of day, night, week, and search for the types of technologies and the vendors that would bring value to their business without the usual, 100 people calling on you at the same time. There are some websites that you make the mistake of clicking on, and the next thing you know, you get 100 emails or 50 phone calls. For the dealer, they can search for what they need when they need it, the way they need it. And if they find a vendor that represents value for what they need right now, they can simply click the call, click email, and reach out to that vendor. So it makes it a lot easier for them. And it costs them a total of $0.
Hard to beat that price. So, Paul, both of us have been in the automotive industry a long time. And one thing that you can bet on for certain is that when a vendor shows up at your door, it's not going to be a good time. Something is going to be going on that you will not have the time to spend with that vendor. And whether they have a good product or not a good product, you're never going to know because they came at a poor time. So how does Dealer Vendor Match work that out?
Well, the thing is, at a dealership, as you said, there really is never a good time to show up because you're always at a deficit on time. You always have more things and people waiting on you than you have extra time for. And with the number of vendors that come through the door, if you only spent 10 minutes with each one, you'd still be way behind the 8 ball on the amount of hours that you needed to spend with them. And let's face it, not everybody that comes in represents value. The car business is kind of a unique business. And if you've been in it for a long time, you understand the culture, you understand the people and how all the pieces work. But there are a lot of people that have gotten into the business that don't necessarily know that. And the last thing a dealer wants to do is spend the time to teach this new person the car business. The dealer wants to know what's in it for them, and that's it. They don't have enough time to sit through 100 different presentations or interview 100 different vendors that currently come through the door. It's gotten so tough that the minute the vendor walks in, they're screened out. You've got gatekeepers because the dealer just doesn't have the time to sit with yet another vendor. So with this platform, they can do all of the searching they need. Each profile is a little bit different, but what all of them share is that on the very top of the profile is their elevator pitch video. Now, if a vendor gets in front of the dealer is going to want to know within 30 to 60 seconds what's in it for them. By watching the elevator pitch video, if there's anything that resonates with the dealer at that point as a pain point that they're experiencing and a benefit that this vendor brings, then they realize that, hey, you know what? This person understands my business, Now they can scroll further into the page to learn more and then contact that vendor when it's convenient for them.
That makes sense. And will certainly save a ton of time for dealers. So one of the other things that I see is that there's many vendors that provide similar services.
Yeah.
But the goal of each vendor is not necessarily in alignment with what the goal of the dealership is. And so dealers need a way to screen that out and to not spend a lot of time in screening that out. So that's kind of difficult to do when you have somebody sitting in front of you and is giving you the pitch. So how does it benefit the dealer to be able to look on your site as at vendors?
Well, there are a lot of vendors that do come in with a lot of great products. Now, as far as the goals not being in alignment, the vendor may see it as, hey, I've got a great product, and I'm sure every dealer will benefit from it. But not having spoken to that particular dealer, not having had the opportunity to do a proper discovery, they don't know whether or not the dealer is even experiencing that problem. So if a vendor comes in, hey, I've got this great new product that does X, Y, and Z, well, that's great, but I'm not having a problem with X, Y, and Z. So rather than spend yet more time, and time is a commodity that you can't really put a value on other than when you calculate the ROs, the hours per RO, but to a dealer, time is gold. They don't want to sit through every pitch. So this makes it easier for them to be able to see the vendors that represent value, and those are the ones that they can set up contact with.
Yeah, and obviously for a dealer, being able to kind of pre-screen some of the vendors so that, maybe there's 15 vendors in the space that provide that, but they can go to Dealer Vendor Match and narrow that down to 3, and now invite somebody in to talk about the product, to show the product to them. And now, instead of wasting 20 to 30 minutes with 15 vendors, which now takes up a dealer's whole week, now they can spend 30 minutes with 3 vendors and take up a couple hours, but get real information.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, Paul, one of the other things is that obviously there's thousands and thousands of dealers around the United States. They cannot all possibly know everything that's out there available for their dealership to help their business. And so how is Dealer Vendor Match going to help dealerships if they're just there kind of browsing through the site?
Well, the great thing about dealervendormatch.com is that the dealer can, oftentimes, you're right, they don't know about all of the technologies because they've been so used to blocking out the people that come in to offer them. But if I know there's nobody standing over my shoulder, and I'm more likely to, when I have time, to go on my mobile device or on the computer, depending on where I am, and look through the different technologies that are available that I might not have known about. Simply by browsing the different categories, like I said, it's a free resource to dealers. So there are tabs on the homepage that they simply click on to open up that particular series of vendors, and then they can look through the different profiles and maybe learn something new that would add benefit to their dealership that they never used or didn't even know about. And the great thing is, because they're able to explore it on their own terms, they'll actually look, as opposed to just dismissing it automatically because, oh God, here comes another person. There goes another 20 minutes on yet another silver bullet that's going to fix everything that's broken while they're telling me everything that's wrong with my store. So it makes it a lot easier.
Right. Excellent. Great points. Paul, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Dave.